This book is either going to be hated by you or loved by you. It depends what sort of thought pattern you have, what your belief system is, and whether you're prepared to face up to the fact that you just might need to change the way you live, the same way as I and many others in the world will. The title is one I don't particularly like because it's called The Spirit World Speaks, which to me conjures up all sorts of things of this man-made fake spirituality, fake readings, angel stuff and what have you, that's completely based on false ways, if you like, that are made up by man. If you believe in God, or say you do, then it means you must believe in the Bible, because that is God. All his words are within the Bible of how he wants us to live and behave and be and do. If you don't believe in the Bible, then you shouldn't be saying you believe in God, because you can't have it both ways. People want to today because they want everything, they want their own way. But the fact is, you cannot say you believe in God and yet go against the Bible and all that's in it and disbelieve it. If you do, then you don't really believe in God, so you shouldn't be using his name everywhere. For those who don't believe in God, they will hate the book I've written with their words, because it basically reiterates and condenses the main points in the Bible for easy reading for everybody in today's modern world. It's warning them of events that are going to happen due to the way we live, not necessarily all now, but for future generations and how it will affect our children and our grandchildren. But are any of you prepared to change to stop any of this happening? I wonder. Some are, but I'm seeing far more who aren't. If you do believe in God of the Bible, then you will see the truth of the words in this book. You will know that what they're saying is right. You will also have a mind open enough to see that a lot of what they're saying about at the moment is actually happening. There is disaster following disaster, as we're told. They are starting to come closer together. Some are getting bigger, as we're told. Diseases that we're told will start to spread through the world and be unable to be controlled easily or at all is all already happening. Look at Ebola. There's a classic example just in today's world now. They can't stop it. It's spreading everywhere. It's out of control. They're not being able to help people a lot with it. They've talked of inbred races coming because of today's immorality and how people have babies by hundreds of different men all over the place, refuse to put names on birth certificates, and then the children are going out, growing up, interbreeding, and then they wonder why we'll end up with severely deformed and malformed children. And this is already being seen in Australia. That was talked of this year in the press, how one huge community was found of inbred people who were doing just that. But apparently in 3 generations' time it's to become far worse, because the beginnings of it are already being shown now and seen, as that has proved. But the main results of it are yet to be seen for 3 generations. There is so much more. Where was once hot will become cold. Where was cold will become hot. Where was dry will become wet, and vice versa. So much of this is happening just since the 2 years that book was written. But people who want to have closed minds and believe God of the Bible doesn't exist, and that his punishments don't exist, because he's an all-loving, all-forgiving God who never punishes for deeds wrong, refuse to believe this could be true. Instead, they'd rather spread the false spirituality of today, where angels sit and do readings and people fly through space in things called astral travel, and they have things called make-believe chakras that are all pretty colours that they can sit and look at and pretend they're clearing to make them far more spiritual beings. To them, becoming a spiritual being is nothing to do with becoming pure of heart. It's nothing to do with looking within oneself and finding one's faults and improving on them. It's nothing to do with putting everyone and every other living creature in this planet before oneself. Nothing to do with that. It's about becoming a medium, becoming a fake healer, becoming everything, and talking about chakras and doing chanting and rituals and burning sage and all the other things that looks very magic and mystical and makes them feel as if they're being spiritual without actually having to become spiritual. So the choice is yours, whichever you believe. The nasty spite reviews from the fake mediums and the fake spiritual people doesn't bother me one little bit, so they can write as many of them as they like, water off a duck's back. It happens all the time. They always attack that in any way they can think to do, but unfortunately they haven't got much imagination, so they all choose the same ways. It's rather tedious, but there we are. So if you choose to believe what's in this book, then you are one of the people, one of the few people that they have said will make a real difference to not just yourself, but to many others in the future and to those around us today. Yes, it's scary reading. And yes, it frightens the life out of me too. But there again, I also see the good things that are written in there. I see what's said about the good people. I see what's said about what is there for us after we leave this world if all of us try to do as best we can and to be as pure of heart as we can. If we try to find real spirituality rather than the false brand that just makes people feel good. True spirituality, when you seek within, doesn't make you feel good. It makes you realise just how actually far from being good you are. So, read the book, see what you think. There are 3 chapters at the beginning that are free of charge to read on Amazon. The paperback can be bought on lulu.com far cheaper than it is on Amazon for some reason, as are most of my books. Most of them are cheaper on lulu.com than they are on Amazon. So the beginnings of all of them are there for you to look at should you wish to and see what I'm about. But one thing I am about is the God of the Bible. And I will not move. I don't make him a God of my making because it sounds better and makes me feel better and fits in with how I want to live. I fit in with how he wants me to live. He doesn't fit in with how I want to be. And that's where most people have it wrong today. They're making him fit us rather than us fitting him. I wonder which one you'll be. Happy reading.